Let's go out to Provo, Utah, and talk to dear Marie. What's up, Marie?
Hey, how's it going?
We're partying. What's up? What are you up to?
Oh, thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Of course. What's happening?
So my husband has seemed to have a change of, I don't know if you'd call them values, but I guess values over the past couple of years. And I don't know how to respect him and his views and still hold true to what's important to me.
Yikes. So give me some insight. What is he? I mean, this sounds like you are at the edge here. Like, what has he changed his values on?
Well, I feel it's like little things. I'm a pretty conservative person, and so swearing has never been an awesome thing for me. And so it's little
I know a lot of conservatives that swear like sailors. You don't like swearing, and he didn't, and now he does.
And now he does.
Okay.
But then it escalates to the way we're parenting. We have 4 kids together. And so then it's he thinks it's completely fine for our 6-year-old to watch PG-13 movies or things that I feel are too violent or things like that. And he thinks it's fine. And so it's just, there's a wide range of things.
What are 1 or 2 that are driving you, scaring you, making you uncomfortable?
Well, I think we both grew up in the same religion, and now he's having, he still somewhat believes, but he also likes to say that I've been brainwashed.
Okay.
And so the way he speaks about it to me, but yeah, he felt, I don't know. He says he's always been an angry person, and for a long time he's tried to not be that way, but I kind of almost feel like he's slipping into, well, this is just me and it's okay, and I almost kind of like it. And so I think that's one of the things that are scaring me the most.
Is he becoming abusive?
I wouldn't say physically, but there are emotionally some stuff that's happening that I don't love.
Give me an example of it.
He curses like a sailor, right? And so before it was always he would do it occasionally, if he were to hurt himself working or doing something, right? Mm-hmm. And then it changed to, instead of calling inanimate objects those names, he turned it onto me. And so now I'm getting called those things.
Have you said, you will not curse at me in my home?
Yeah, I've tried.
What does he say to that?
He almost kind of takes it as a challenge. Well, what are you going to do about it?
I have something in my guts, Marie, that tells me there's something deeper here. Because I'll just be honest. I've had periods of my marriage of 21 years when I completely walked away from my childhood faith. Walked away completely. My wife has had seasons when what she believes now is radically different from what she believed when she was married.
Yeah.
And both of us have loved being a steady partner for the other person while they're reconsidering things, learning new things, leaning on doubt, leaning on conviction, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But at no point has it ever turned to me versus you.
Right. And that's what I don't love about the situation. And I know that sometimes I haven't handled things perfectly, but I still just feel like there's no.
Hold on. If you ask your husband, do not swear at me, and he then fires up a bunch of swear words and says, what are you going to do about it? That's a power flex.
Right.
And that rarely happens in a vacuum. That's a dude that looks down on his wife with disdain. She is beneath him. She is not a person to be respected. I wouldn't do that to I swear too much, okay? Like, I run my mouth too much. But also, I try my best to be respectful.
Yeah.
And even when Kelly's like, hey, can you just chill on the diarrhea jokes? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, depending on where we are.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, you wait now. That's just dumb. It's just disrespectful.
Right.
And so that's contempt. Right. That is a relationship that's being held together by string and duct tape.
Right.
What's the deeper issue here? Is he seeing somebody else?
No. No, I mean, we definitely don't have enough time to get to all issues, but no, there's other things going on, and okay. I don't know.
So how can I help?
I want to know how to not feel like we're fighting about everything. Like, I feel like our views are so opposite on most things, and I want to know.
Views are not the problem. Views are not the problem. It's the respect by which you treat each other. That's the problem. I've got very few of my closest friends share my specific faith in the way that I believe it.
Yeah.
Very, very few of my friends follow up and down with my political beliefs. Very few, if any. Ideological beliefs, beliefs about love and care and marriage, very, very few. But the way we engage each other and the way I respect them and the way they respect me guides everything.
Right.
And I think that's a great fallacy of the culture we live in now, which is you have to believe every single thing I do exactly the way I believe it. And I think that's nonsense. It's not real. But
right.
We do have to be like respectful human beings and treat each other with dignity. Otherwise, we're children. We're children. And so I don't think it's a matter of you'll have different beliefs. It sounds like your husband's treating you like dirt. And my question for you is why? It almost seems like you're giving him a pass. You're trying to make the problem the beliefs and not him.
Well, I can't do anything about him.
But you can flip the lights on and call a spade a spade. Ultimately, here's the deal. You have to have an or what statement. When you get down to somebody being super disrespectful or doing things that you think hurt your kids, which if you are showing young children violent movies, you are hurting your kids, period. If you're swearing at your kids, screaming and cursing at your children, or you're cursing at their mom in front of them, you're hurting your kids, period. If you land there, if you're punching holes through sheetrock, I'm not hitting anybody, okay, you're creating an environment where everybody is terrified of what you're going to do next. If every time mom packs the kids up and is going to church, dad's sitting on the couch making fun of mom, yelling at mom, you're so brainwashed, you're such an idiot, then you have to make a choice. This is the bed I've made, I'm going to lay in it. Or, here's my or what statement. If you treat me like this again, or scare the kids like this again, we are going to leave. And if you don't have an or what statement, then your husband's question rings true. What are you going to do about it? And that feels like it's closer to home than you want to believe, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like at the very beginning of this call, you have a tone in your voice that says you are about to walk out that door and never turn around once. Do you dream about that day sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? You're not a bad person for having that thought. Do you have a place you could go for a season, for a couple of days?
Not really.
You have a mom and a dad or a sister or a cousin you could go stay with for a while, or a girlfriend?
Nothing local.
That's fine. Doesn't have to be local. Where are your tears coming from? Are you mad at me? And that's okay if you are. Are you mad at him? Or is the realization of the true reality that you live in starting to wash over you? Or maybe all three.
No, it's just hard.
Yeah.
Because we go in these phases where we're fine, and then we're not.
But are you
And
fine?
trying to
Are you fine because you're playing peacekeeper?
Probably.
Or are you able to drop your shoulders and make your jokes back? Let me ask you this. Do you have a friend, a girlfriend there in town that you could sit down and go have coffee with and just put all this on the table and tell the truth?
Yeah.
Would you consider doing that?
I don't know.
There's something about saying it out loud in the physical presence of somebody else that crystallizes it and makes it real. And sometimes it shakes us out of our stupor. Because you spend a lot of your life numb and a lot of the time in your own head, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, you deserve a different kind of life than that, Marie. You deserve to be loved and cherished and challenged. And you and your husband never have to believe the same things, but y'all do have to treat each other with respect. And you deserve laughter and rambunctious sex, even though you have 4 kids, for God's sake. You are worth all that. Fun, building things, planning for things, having people over, you're worth all that. And it just feels like you have stuffed you so far down in a sock just to keep the peace inside your own home.
Is that like my only option? Like, deal out an ultimatum? I don't think that's going to go over well.
Of course it's not. It's not supposed to go over well. It's supposed to keep you safe and whole. If you tell me that, my first thought would always be, we're going to get out of the house, change the environment, and go somewhere, preferably over a meal where we can go slow and talk. And you, for the first time, can be fully 100% honest if and only if it's safe. It's not safe, then you can't do it. You're going to get hurt. Either physically or emotionally or both. Or if the kids are going to pay the price for your honesty, then you have to get a therapist, you have to get a professional, and you have to walk that route. But if you haven't done that, and you take your husband out and say, hey, when we got together, we both believed this, we both believed this, we both believed this. And over the last few years, things have changed. Cool. People change. Esther Perel says most adults have 3 to 4 or 5 great loves in their lifetime. And if they work really hard, it's with the same person. I love that. I'm a very, very different person than than the man my wife married several times over. That's awesome. But if you could tell your husband, hey, you've changed. I've changed. Our whole life is different because we got 4 kids. And now that we've got 4 kids, we're butting up against some different beliefs. I don't believe 6-year-olds should watch violent movies. It really makes me feel gross when you curse and yell at me. Makes me feel unsafe and scared. I'm just picturing myself, my wife taking me out and telling me those things. I would want to crawl under the table. I'd be so ashamed of myself. And I would commit then and there to never do that again. But if you've done that and your husband's response is, ha ha ha, what are you going to do about it? Then yeah, you may be at ultimatum stage. And if you think he's going to hurt you, you think he's unsafe, then you have to get some professionals in your area, whether it's the police, whether it's a licensed therapist, whether it is some sort of other person in your life to have some of those conversations with. Because the alternative is your 4 kids growing up in a house and they think this is what love is. And this is what safety is. This is how husbands treat wives. And let's make no mistake. I read the data. Are you working full time?
Yeah, I am.
It'd be really scary to be a single mom with 4 kids, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Both economically, practically, professionally, it's a nightmare. So I'm not saying any of this is easy. I'm just saying I'm sick to my stomach for you, and I wish so much better for you. What are you thinking?
I don't know. We tried counseling for a little bit, and I wish we could go back to it, but things started to get honest, and he decided he didn't want to go back.
So he chose his comfort, and he chose his fantasy world over a united, healed marriage.
That's what it feels like.
That's not what it feels like, hon. That's what it is. And I'm so sorry for you. I'm heartbroken for you. I guess the other option here, if you will convince me that you're safe, the other option here is for you to go see a counselor on your own and begin to talk through, I need some new tools and some new skills so that I can begin to defend myself, stand up for myself, and ultimately make a transition plan if that day arises. I wish with all my guts I had better news for you, Marie. But if you have a partner who says, I don't care what you say. Oh, yeah? Watch this. You think that's bad? Watch this. Oh, yeah. You want to tell the truth in a counseling session? Well, then screw you. I'm never going again. These kids are a bunch of babies. They can watch that. They're fine. Quit being such a whiny brat. You brainwashed. Like, dude, you live in that world? I wish I had better news for you, man, but that's a toddler. You're married to a toddler who simply doesn't respect and love his wife. You deserve more than that. And the path from where you are right this second to being healed is a treacherous and scary one. Make no mistake. So if you're my friend, if you're my sister, if you're one of my buddy's wives calling me in your school, if you're one of my buddy's wives, that's a whole different conversation. Whew. I think it starts with getting with a girlfriend and saying, I need to tell you some hard things and some very deep things. And I know that you withheld on this call. You didn't tell me everything, and that's fine. I totally understand that. But you sit down with a girlfriend and you tell her everything. Here's what we're going through. And I don't know what to do next. and call a counselor and say, here's everything. I don't know what to do next. Let's start at those two places and get some people who live in your ecosystem, in your community, around your family. Let's get them speaking into this. Whew. But I think you deserve more. I think you deserve more. And if your husband wants to call into the show, I'd love to talk to him. He won't, but I'd love to talk to him. Thanks for the call, Marie.